last class we had discussed about globalization of production and the stages of globalization. Today we'll be discussing on investment and technology. So we are today talking about investment. Now investment refers to capital, money or finance, right? That every company requires, whether it is a home country, whether it is a global country, etc. Right? Irrespective of company size, nature or operations, every business requires money, right? Now here we are talking about how does investment move around on a global level or in terms of globalization. Now we can think in the same terms. In case if you were a part of a home country, okay, you are still a domestic company, how would you plan your investment to be? Okay, similar is when you plan for a global investment, but then when it is coming to global, you need to consider a lot more things before you finalize on your investment, such as you need to have a lot of information, right, regarding currency, regarding accounting, regarding disclosure, trade, liquidity, settlement of tax, repatriation of your profit to home country, and all the other political and the legal issues. Okay, even though you analyze the markets on the same basis how you would do in a domestic company, when you're doing on a global level, keeping those same process same, you add another more process to it, right? As I just mentioned, you need to keep a track of the currency changes, the accounting procedure, the payment of taxes, the repatriation of profit, etc. So you need to consider a whole new part of activities or processes when deciding on investment. So these companies have to conduct a financial feasibility. Now what do you mean by feasible? Feasibility means whether or not a particular idea or a particular concept will work. Okay, so before you produce your product, for example, on a very large scale, you will first produce one quantity, yes, one unit of product, right, and then test it or check whether it is feasible, yes, whether this product has come out well or not. If it is good, if it is a quality oriented, then you will start a large scale production, correct? Same applies to investment, right? You first check, right? You check the feasibility whether this investment is going to give me returns, keeping in mind all the aspects I just mentioned to you, right? The tax, the legal issues, accounting, repatriation. Keeping all this in mind, whether or not this financial investment is feasible, okay, for a particular new venture or a project, right, etc. Right? And definitely you're not focusing on one particular country here. It is global, right? So in different countries of the world, okay, where it is more profitable. So nobody is going to invest for loss or less profit, right? Every business aim is what? Profit maximization. So even if you're putting $10 or $10,000 as an investment, you expect it to multiply, correct? You expect it to be profitable. So you need to do your own homework or your own research in order to check whether it is feasible. Let's understand what are the different stages in this investment process, global investment process. There's equity research, portfolio construction, equity trading, post-trade and process improvement. So these are the stages that you need to study or research yourself and then finalize on investment. The first one is equity research. That is commonly what companies look for is what? Investment in terms of purchasing equity shares. Okay, so I need to research and understand which industry is doing well, which company in that particular industry is doing well. Okay, because some companies understand while it might perform very well in country A, but the same company will be performing very poorly in country B. Okay, so you just can't go by the overall industry performance. You have to go by individual companies' performance. Okay, so this is the first and the most important phase of the investment process. So you need to check yield, okay, sell and allocation recommendations starting with an objective and strategy, right? If you have studied investment process in detail in your earlier classes, you would understand about when I'm talking about investment, I need to keep two things in mind. Okay, what is the return I will be earning, okay, on my investment. Again, I'm telling, it can be $10 of investment or it can be $10 million of investment. What is my return? That's my major objective. Second is I need to understand and be aware of the risk aspect. Very important. Return and risk are the two major, like two faces of a coin, right? They are always attached. Higher the risk, higher the return, lower the risk and lower the return. So I need to keep a check of the performance of companies or industries among different countries. The second one is portfolio construction. Now here, portfolio, what do you mean by that word? It is a group of investments, okay, or investment avenues. I can invest in equity, I can invest in debenture, I can invest in corporate bonds or even government bonds, etc. Okay, so I'm going to have a list of stocks to buy and sell. It can be just equity but of different companies or of different industries, right? Few of pharmaceutical industry, on few of automobile industry, etc. So I'm going to club or make a list of what all stocks or kind of avenues I would like to invest upon. So it should be structured. That means if I'm going to make a list of portfolio, on what basis will I make? I need to keep a track of risk, the style of investment, right? About the safety, tax, turnover, liquidity, government regulations, etc. I need to check each of my investment or each of my stock on all these aspects and see what is more profitable or convenient for me. Okay, so based on these criteria, I will be shortlisting few stocks. So proper mix of stock is decided to construct an optimum portfolio. Optimum means maximum beneficial portfolio. Okay, nobody makes a list of things after much research to face any kind of loss, correct? So therefore, I'm going to construct a proper portfolio that would be the most profitable. The third step is equity trading. Now once I've decided, right, here I've constructed stage 2, I've constructed my portfolio. Stage 3, I will be executing it. Okay, we can plan a lot of things, correct? But if it's not executed, all the plans are in vain. Therefore, execution is the manifestation of portfolio construction. I have to execute what I have planned. Okay, so this is where the theory meets the reality in the market. So until stage 2, you only researched, understood based on different criteria. But under stage 3, you're actually facing the reality. You are entering the market with your money or with your investment. A smooth and efficient transitions from portfolio construction phase through the execution phase is essential. So it's not how greatly you have planned, how profitable portfolio construction you have prepared, but the actual reality lies in how much of those plans are actually implemented or executed. Stage 4 is post-trade. So every trade or every transaction that you have must be confirmed, okay? Whether you want to buy, whether you want to sell, it must be settled and it must be delivered. Now today we have NEFT, RTGS, or we have DMAT account, correct? So that way the process of delivering the equity share certificates or settlement of the amount is much more quicker. If not efficient, it can cause bottlenecks and interfere with investment process flow. As I told, once you have bought a share or bought a stock or even purchased or sold anything, it must be efficient. Okay, is the transaction completed? Is the transaction confirmed? Is the settlement happening immediately? Correct? Because today we are talking about global, right? Globalization. That means we are combining our strengths, combining technologies. Therefore, the transactions have to be settled efficiently. What happens if not efficiently? It can cause bottleneck. Bottleneck means an issue, a problem, okay, which can interfere in the investment process flow. So there is a vast selection of trade processing technology to streamline these steps in settlement and clearing phase. So as I just mentioned, when I'm talking about a global technology or a global trade market, there is wide selection of trade processing technology, right? We have in India, we have BSC, right, Bombay Stock Exchange or National Stock Exchange, or otherwise other countries, New York Stock Exchange, etc., where the settlement process is more updated, okay, and you can streamline it for better convenience. The last process talks about process improvement, that is investment process improvement. So this includes the ongoing task of general investment management, compliance, accounting and regulatory reporting. So remember, in the stage 2, you constructed a portfolio and then you are executing in the upcoming stages. Good. But does it stop there? No. You need to continue that, right? Over and again, every 6 months once, every 3 months once, or once in a year, you need to analyze or check whether your investments are getting the same return, or is the risk getting higher or the risk getting lower. Okay, so it's a simple a check that you need to do upon your investment. Okay, because there can be a lot of compliance issues, there can be accounting process that has been changing, regulatory reporting. There are a lot of things that have been changing constantly in the economy, so you need to keep a track of it. Special tasks that must be included is portfolio analysis. As I just mentioned, analyze it, whether product or whether stock A is giving you the return as promised. If it is giving, good, continue to invest. If it is not giving, then what is the action to be taken? Portfolio rebalancing. If you want to remove certain stocks from your portfolio and add another new stocks to your portfolio, yes, you are allowed to do that. Okay, that is called as portfolio rebalancing. Performance attribution and measurement. So you're going to check the aspects of return and risk constantly. Trade performance measurement. So I need to check the overall portfolio function. Okay, overall, how is it working? Individual stock wise or company wise, how is it working? So I need to measure the performance of my portfolio. Okay, so with that we complete the globalization of investment. Next, it is globalization of technology. Technology are conceived as the main facilitator and driving force of most of globalization processes. Now here we are talking about technology. Now technology is the main facilitator or the driving force why these companies can connect with one another, how these companies are able to grow in terms of efficiency, in terms of quality, because of the growing technology. Now companies definitely with the latest technology acquire distinctive competencies and advantages of producing high quality products on low cost. Now, why are companies having numerous costs and some companies are having less cost, but the quality is guaranteed, the efficiency is guaranteed? Why? Because they have an advantage of latest technology. Correct? So those companies who can adapt themselves to the latest technology can survive in a more efficient manner in the market. So these advanced manufacturing technologies have definitely altered the long-standing patterns of productivity and employment. We ourselves can observe that back then, when products or services used to take such longer time to process or such longer time to produce, today with the help of machine, with the help of technology, it can be produced within a very short time period. Okay. Improved air and sea transportation, definitely when you're talking about global transportation or logistics management comes into the picture, right? So these transportation facilities have definitely accelerated. What do you mean by accelerate? Has speeded up, right, or fastened the worldwide flow of people and goods. Now when I talk of flow of people, it talks about flow of employment opportunities. Okay, flow of goods is the products and services. So companies globalize through modes of joint venture, merger, export, right, contract manufacturing, etc. Through all these modes, it's becoming an opportunity to globalize technology. Technology transfer. What do you mean by technology transfer? It is simply the process of sharing. Technology transfer is the process of sharing. What are you sharing? You're sharing the skills, the knowledge, the technology, methods of manufacture and other facilities. Okay, these are the things that you are sharing. To whom? Among all the economies of the world, because we are talking about global technology. Okay, for what is the purpose of sharing or transferring technology? It is to ensure technological developments are made accessible. Okay, what is the point of having a technology if people are not able to use it? Correct? Or if people are not able to take advantage of it? Yes or no? So a technology is supposed to be shared solely for the purpose that it has to be accessible for the users. Okay, it mentions wide range of uses. It's not for just corporations. It can be for governments. It can be for individuals. It can be for entrepreneurs. Correct? Wide range of users who then can further develop the technology. Isn't that true? Back then, people have invented the light bulb. That was just an invention, right? It was shared across the globe. And then today, whatever we have, LED lights or the other electronic gadgets or lights, everything started developing when people started using the technology. Okay, so once they started using the technology, they started thinking what better can be done with this technology. How can we improvise it? How can we develop it even more further? Correct? Then, by opening the Indian economy, as I mentioned to you in the last class, right, that Indian economy became global in the year 1991 through the LPG Act, which stands for Liberalization, Globalization and Privatization. That is, India is a developing country. Now, when this developing country opened its market to the global market, then it started transferring from developed countries' technologies to the developing countries. So the constant transfer happens from developed countries to the developing or the underdeveloped countries. Now, how can this transfer happen? Okay, there are two ways of acquiring technological transfer. One way is that you develop your own research and development. Okay, that is in your own country or in your own company, you research about it. Okay, you research, you study about it and you develop the technology. Or There are countries, there are companies who already have developed a technology, okay? Then you can purchase it, okay? Purchase through indigenous or imported resources, okay? So this is how technology transfer agreement happens. So today we have studied about globalization of investment and globalization of agreement.